In this video, we're going to look at evaluating expressions. We're first asked to evaluate x squared plus y, given that x is equal to 1/3 and y is equal to 1/2. So remember, the steps for evaluating are to plug in the value for the variable and then to simplify using order of operations. So when you plug in values for variables, it's always important to remember to use parentheses. That really is important. So x has a value of 1/3, so I'm going to write 1/3, and that 1/3 is being squared, plus y has the value of 1/2. Right now, order of operations says that first I have to simplify the squaring. So I have to multiply 1/3 times 1/3. So I'm going to do this off to the side. 1/3 times 1/3. When I'm working with fractions and I'm multiplying, I can just multiply straight across. So my numerators give me 1 times 1 is 1, and my denominators 3 times 3 is 9. So that simplifies to 1/9. So now I have to add 1/9 plus 1/2. So now we have to go back to those fraction rules where we are adding fractions that have different denominators. So we need to find a common denominator. So the lowest common denominator means I need to find a number that the smallest number that they both go into. I think the hint for finding the LCD means to start with your biggest number. So my biggest number in the denominator is 9. And I'm going to do multiples of that number until the other denominator goes into it. So can I divide 9 by 2? No, so 9 will not be my LCD. The next multiple of 9 is 18. Can I divide 18 by 2? Yes, 18 goes into, can be divided by 2 evenly. So that tells me that 18 is going to be my LCD. So I'm going to make both denominators 18. Then I have to ask myself, well, what do I need to multiply a 9 by to get it to turn into an 18? I have to multiply 9 by 2 for it to become 18. So if I do that to the denominator, I also have to do it to the numerator. So when I multiply 1 times 2, that now turns the first fraction into 2 over 18. What do I have to multiply 2 by to get it to become an 18? I have to multiply 2 by 9 for it to become 18. So again, I'm going to have to multiply my numerator by 9. So now that becomes 9 over 18. Now when you're adding fractions, you keep that common denominator. So I'm going to keep the 18 and just combine the numerators. So 2 plus 9 is 11 over 18. All right, so that is the value of that expression when x is 1/3 and y is 1/2. Number 2, we have 3x squared minus x plus 6, and we're given that x is equal to -3. So I'm going to plug in that -3 for my x's, and I'm going to use make sure I use parentheses, especially in that second x. It's very important to have the parentheses. All right, so now my expression is 3 times -3 squared minus a -3 plus 6. So order of operations says I have to do my squaring first. So when I square -3, that means -3 times -3, which means a positive 9. So this turns into 3 times 9 minus a -3 plus 6. All right, now I can just do the multiplication. So 3 times 9 is 27. Then I have this sign changer, a negative and a negative make it into a positive 3 plus 6. And now I can just add left to right. 27 plus 3 is 30, plus 6 more is 36. So this expression has the value of 36 when x is negative 3. Number 3, we have 2a over 5 minus 4b when a is equal to negative 3 and b is equal to 2. So I'm going to plug in. Notice that I've got two different variables, so I have to really be intentional as to what value I put in for each variable. So a has a value of negative 3, so it's going to be 2 times negative 3 in my numerator. And then b has the value of 2, so that will go into my denominator. So 5 minus 4 times 2. Well, simplifying my numerator is pretty easy here, so I'm just going to multiply. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. My denominator, I've got to do the multiplication first, remember. That's what order of operations says. So it's going to be 5. Bring that down. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And then 5 minus 8 is negative 3. So I have negative 3 in my denominator. Now I'm going to simplify this. When you divide, if you have two negatives, it becomes a positive. So my result is going to be a positive number. And then 6 divided by 3 is 2. So my expression has a value of 2. And number 4, we've got a minus b times b minus c, and we're given that a is equal to negative 4, b is equal to 2, and c is equal to 1. So we have to, again, be very careful about what value we're putting in for each variable, since we have 3 different variables here with different values. All right, so first I'll plug in a. So a is negative 4 minus b is 2 times b again is 2 and c is 1. So when I simplify the first parentheses, negative 4 minus 2, that makes it a negative 6. Keeping it in parentheses because the parentheses are also telling me to multiply. And then 2 minus 1 is 1. So when I multiply negative 6 times 1, I get negative 6. Again, the key to evaluating expressions is remembering to put in those parentheses and then use order of operations to simplify.